Beautiful. All right. Well, hello everyone. My name is Lauren or LP, whichever you prefer. I love to give people options there. I am the owner and co-founder of Focus on Health. We are a platform that advocates for the health and wellness of the food and beverage sector. And really excited to be here with Tiffanie Barriere, who's going to spill the tea, y'all. She's going to spill all of it. Well, hopefully not. Most of it will be in the drink, but she might spill a little bit. So we're really excited to have her here today. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she can absolutely do that way better than I. But before I start, I just wanted to talk very, very, very briefly about the collaboration that we have with the Bitters Reality for our wellness box. And some of you here are here because you've purchased it. So we love and appreciate you. Some of you here did not purchase it, but you're still here and we love you and appreciate you for that as well. So one of the initiatives that we wanted to do this month with our lovely friends at The Blend and their blessing is collaborate with Bitters Reality. And it's a subscription box service that usually offers some cocktails. We decided to put our focus on health twist on it and curate a wellness box. So we've partnered with 8 Black makers to feature a series of items to create our focus on health box. It's the first of its kind, hopefully more to come. We have the Normalized Black Bartenders t-shirt by Brown and Balance. We have these beautiful, beautiful leather coasters from the Bitters Reality. Motherland Essentials makes these beautiful bath bombs and soaps. So half of you will get bath bombs, half of you will get soaps. Virgo Ash makes this amazing. The idea behind this was like burning sage. She makes like a sage and lavender infused, basically like air scent, room scent perfume, which is beautiful. I've been spraying it on my clothes. I hope that's okay. Yeah. So you want to talk about Ray's book? We actually have a book club associated with this. If you have any interest in joining us, the discussions have been really amazing. This lovely class, which we're really happy to have Tiffanie here to be a part of. And then last but not least, Golden Coil Wellness Journal and wellness prompts in collaboration with The Blend. So this has been a really amazing experience. 100% of the proceeds is going to support 6 charities and organizations that are Black owned, that are doing various different things. We have the Trap Studio, who really focuses on health and wellness through yoga and movement, which is beautiful. The Malona Heritage Society, which the Thomases, Tanya and David Thomas, own together. And they're really just giving back to youth in regards to the culinary side of food and beverage. We have Brown and Balance doing amazing things, creating platform for Black and brown faces and spaces. And then we have DMV Black Restaurant Week, so DC, Maryland, Virginia Black Restaurant Week, in conjunction with Back to Black Pop-Up, which is a pop-up that came about when the rise of Black Matters movement came around last year in 2020 in the DC area to just encourage and encourage folks who were interested in speaking up about all of the issues that were really occurring around that time to have a space and a place to do that. So yeah, we have some pretty dope partnerships. Oh, and Radical Exchange, we cannot forget them. They're doing amazing work. And they have an amazing seminar coming up shortly. So we wanted to show some love to those organizations and get back. If you're attending this class, have any interest in that box, you're more than welcome to do that. There is a discount that goes with that. So I will give you my information. You get $20 off of that box. So thank you for being here. And without further ado, I will give you over to Tiffanie.
Give them to me. Give them to me. Hi, everyone. I see some faces. I see a lot of names, but don't be afraid to let me see your faces. I'm a bartender, y'all. Come on. Like, I want to see you. I want to be in your house. I want to be nosy. I want you to be all in my little colorful kitchen. This is a strange time. Before I get into my emotions, which all those that know me know that I'm emotional. I will cry in a heartbeat. But I'm just so happy what Lauren's doing. I'm just so happy what our industry is trying to do. We're always trying to change the world, one bar at a time, one cocktail at a time. But in this current climate, we're just trying to save ourselves, save our mental, save our creativity, save our friends. And what Lauren's doing is amazing. It's a bit of heavy, a bit of fun, a bit of movement, a bit of everything that we need. And it's just been beautiful to see what she's done in this time and watch it grow and then give us a chance to see all of our friends. So I'm really stoked to meet new people. I'm stoked to see old friends because I don't think that we would be doing this if we were not in the pandemic. I don't know what Black history in this industry would look like if we didn't have the pandemic. Would we be flying to DC? Would you be coming to Atlanta to see me? Would you be overworked in spreadsheets? Like, what would you be doing? So I dig the pandemic for very small reasons. And it's times like this to just log on, vibe out, learn. We're very vulnerable right now. Us women are in a space, us, the men are in a space, our trans families in a space. We're just in a space. And thank God for cocktails. Thank God for cocktails and mocktails. So I'm just happy to be here. I am constantly virtually doing things. Those that have never met me before, I'm that bald girl currently on Imbibe magazine's cover. Crazy surprise shocker for me. A super honor to represent our industry, represent our culture, represent women who have no hair. No. Just to be. It's great to be right now, and a lot of my creativity currently is coming out of pain. Honestly, it's coming from fear. It's coming from worry. It's coming from grief, and to be able to express myself through the glass for our industry makes my heart beat like crazy. So thank you for letting me be here. The drinking coach for those that follow me on Instagram. I'm a storyteller. I love telling some stories, and I love having a cocktail. And when we know better, it tastes better. Hence why we're gonna have some cocktails tonight. Lauren asked me a while back, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things we can do as a creative, but there's something that I always like to result to when I'm like, I don't know what I want to make, and it's tea. I love tea. I grew up in the tea drinking home. First thing in the morning, my mom is like pulling out a box, like pure tea service. We've got beautiful porcelains, we've got great steamers, strainers, any kind of tea you can think of. My mom is serving it. Does she put alcohol in it? Damn right she does. But not always, but tea is always exciting for me. And then once I got into the cocktail game, especially being a Southern woman, I was like, is it weird to put like booze in tea? And everyone's like, heck no. And then as I started to like research and find out, of course, the botany of tea, the difference in tea, the floral, the herbal, the pure, the flavored, growing tea. Like who would ever thought growing tea would be hard? I found that out this summer when I was working with my bestie, Kiata, in her garden. We actually grew tea flowers just to see how this thing really works. And tea is amazing. Tea brings something out of us. Tea is warm, clearly, floral. It smells great. It's calming. It's just it speaks to us. So does gossip. And so when I thought about like the tea, my first thought quickly was like, "Oh, the tea," because who doesn't want a nice cup of tea? But the tea, like given the tea, and that term, the tea, if you've used it or read about it or heard someone, that comes from the Black drag scene. This is the era that we've seen, definitely portrayed on television shows now. But the queer family, specifically the drag family, was really flamboyant and beautiful and sassy and messy, real messy. And so when they would read someone, when they would give someone for filth, which means I'm about to clean you out, it's because they knew the tea about you. They knew the hotness of you. They knew what could boil you. They knew how to read you. Anyone that's watching RuPaul's Drag Show season 13, if you're not, catch up. It's a winner. The last season, if you didn't see it, the last episode, Ru literally had the queens read each other. And I was like, wow. The fact that the Black queer community was taught to be as amazing as they were, as colorful as they were taught to be tough and take it, but take the truth. And so watching the lineup read each other one at a time, just imagine if I just read you right now. I was like, Rachel, girl, blah, 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 blah. And you'd be like, but how would you take it? You know, it's like you take it with a grain of salt and you're like, well, you know, all right, they ain't lying. So I find it very hard to actually accept reading and the filth, but the tea actually made you a little bit stronger. And it was a little bit of constructive criticism. It's sad to say, but a good cup of tea is sometimes needed. And I hate to gossip because it's filthy, but I do like to hear some good truth. Gossip is not the truth. Gossip is dirt and garbage, but the tea, well, that's the real story. So, anyway, I might come back to that later, but let's make the cocktail. I'm so happy for my sponsors. Yes, to the bottles of greatness right here. I'm so happy to blend some of my favorite spirits, and they go really great with tea. I mean, the alchemy of tea, hands down, we already know botany, alchemy, steam, flavors, colors, aroma. Same thing with booze, right? That's what happens when we're working with our spirits. So I'm going to start off easy with a beautiful Scotch cocktail. I call it Warm Regards because why not? Why not? In all regards. So I am working with a chai tea. The chai tea sits in the flavored tea category. That's chai, jasmine. Sometimes some of the mint teas come in there. They go into more of the herbal side, but these are the teas that as soon as they start to steep, you're like, whoa, that is just taken over. And sometimes adding a little cardamom pod even takes it somewhere else. Tea is tied into two regions. China, obviously, really documenting tea in 500 BC, but the Mediterranean is really crushing it because of obviously the homeland and a little bit of water. You need some good water to grow tea. I found that out the hard way trying to grow it. And in Scotland, they really didn't have a lot of good water. There's some decent water, but not enough water to grow tea. And so some of the growers would actually head over to the Mediterranean, figure out this alchemy and this botany and bring it back. And so to grow some tea and have a 5 o'clock tea, which is, you already know, putting the liquor in the tea. That was a thing in Scotland for sure. So I did a chai tea. I did a chai tea syrup. Chai tea it's just so aromatic. But when you bring it down a tad with a little bit of your sweetener, I choose to sweeten my flavored teas with agave, kind of plant on plant. There's nothing against using white sugar or brown sugar. I often play with molasses because I'm a Southern woman, but try sweetening your teas or making your syrups with agave. You will definitely be able to allow those flower buds to be who they are and not be overpowered. Sometimes that white sugar can just be a little too aggressive. So I've got some chai tea syrup. I'm gonna get into some citrus and then this beautiful, beautiful woman here. So of course I'm building cheapest ingredients, most expensive. I'm starting with my lemon. Just gonna slice half the lemon. Gotta have that acid, y'all. You already know. Gotta have that good acid. Fresh is the best. I'm juicing just half of it straight in there. Your choice on doing this. Once we're back at bars and we're consulting and we're working with our bar programs, you know, you can use the kind of lemon that you want, but fresh is the best. And speaking of like bar programs and using tea, I definitely used a lot of tea in the bar programs I use. I think the boss really loves it when you pinch a penny sometimes. We're spending a lot of money, maybe if you're focused on glassware, fun ice, or other things in the bar. It's really fun to incorporate tea versus maybe another liqueur or another spirit. It really, really brings down the cost. Tea, how about it? Water and a herb, steep batch that, and you're in a good space. So think about tea when you're consulting your bar program, saving a big penny. They're really, really tasty.
Hey,
Um,
Tiffany, I have a question for you.
I hope I have
Um, when incorporating tea in cocktails, what's your advice as far as dilution, right? Because tea is essentially water or concentrated solution that
yeah,
has water in it.
that's a great question. Depending on what you're really, which tea you're using, and when you're steeping tea, certain teas, this is a flower, the way you boil it matters. boiling at a temperature 180. That's more like your white tea, your flower teas. Your herbs go up to the 212s. When you're steeping, if you're going for something strong like the chai, we really want the best space for that. You want to go ahead and, probably double steep it, let it cool, and then taste their dilution, maybe quarter to three, maybe three. Yeah, I'd say 3 to 1, but that's up to your palate. Your palates are personal, but also think about what spirit you're going to use. So it kind of varies. Get in there, taste it, think about where you want to go with how strong it is or how light you want it to be.
Beautiful.
Blood orange, gorge, usually always in season. Beautiful color. It matches with our chai, obviously, but we're building on the flavors of the whiskey and also the tea. So I'm using half of my blood orange. Pasteurized blood orange juice is really good too, but this is going to just kind of tame down the acid a tad, give us some juiciness, some volume and richness. So just right now, I just have my citrus, lemon, and blood orange juice. And then I've got
Tiffanie,
this.
so sorry. There's a question for you about the tea.
Bring it in.
What with your chai, do you ever boil and whisk or you just steep it?
Steep. No boiling. No boiling. Those flowers need to be taken care of. I really get afraid of a rolling boil or anything like that. But if you are bringing like your steam pot up to boiling, I would go ahead and after she whistles or whatever you're using, pour that over there and just let it be. We don't want to drop tea bags. If you're using a tea bag and bring that to a boil, you're pretty much steaming off most of the flavor. 3/4 of my chai syrup going right inside. Oh, it smells so good. Thanks for letting me drink tonight. I'll be drinking all 3 of these cocktails. Thank you so much. And this beauty, don't look at the drink mark there. We just, we were thirsty. I'm just doing a nice ounce and a half right inside. I really want, obviously, I want this beauty to stand out, be great, but I also want it to be balanced with those flavors I put in. The chai is really, really, really floral, but so is our beautiful scotch. So let's give her a shake.
We have someone making cocktails with you, girl.
Make these cocktails. So I'm not drinking alone. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna use a regular rocks glass there. Full to the rim. Don't rock this baby to sleep. You want to give her a good shake so all those flavors can go together.
I must say that's a beautiful shake you got yourself there.
I shook an egg white cocktail for the first time the other day and my arms are so sore. It's been like a year.
Right?
Yes, Kim, shake that cocktail, Kim.
This right here is serious. Sometimes I get into my class and I'm shaking like 3 shaking cocktails and I'm like, oh, girl needs a workout. Look at this color. That's the blood orange. That's the chai. That lemon lights it up. Ooh. And I'll be garnishing with a nice, gorgeous blood orange wheel looking like the sunset that we need. And I call her they, them. Warm regards. Kim, gorgeous. Yes, girl, yes. Cheers to you. Let me get this sip.
Cheers.
Ooh, that is so yummy.
Ooh, yes. So yummy. I love when we can taste every single ingredient. And that's the fun part for me when it comes to a tea cocktail. You want the tea. Yeah, chai is in the building, but you're getting every single component with letting this beauty stand out. So I absolutely love that cocktail. I actually worked on that cocktail during the pandemic. I love a complex smokiness, and it really just goes really great, of course, with tea. So that's the tea for me on that one. Chai can be a little overpowering sometimes, but it doesn't do that in this one. So she's gorgeous. I'll share these recipes too. I know Lauren shared them, but I will also share them later and put them on Instagram or whatever. But they're really fun to create because I love tea cocktails and I think that they're just exciting. When I was at One Flew South, I worked a lot with, you name it, they came through. I worked in the largest airport in the world, the world, not the Southeast, not America, in the entire world, with the largest airline in the world being our hub. And I had the nerve to operate the best bar in the busiest airport in the world. It was insane. The things that we covered were the same that you would do at your regular bars and restaurants, except speed was very important, consistency was very important, and body language, very, very important. When you're traveling, you are in a space, you're a zombie when you're traveling. These people would come to me panting at the mouth and Google-eyed and just like lost. And I'd have to look at them and go, it's okay, I understand. They were so lost. And the very first question I would ask them was, what time is your flight? They would freeze. The first answer was, I don't know. And you would think, after looking at your ticket or your phone app that long, why don't you know where you're going and when you're going? They're a zombie. So grabbing a hold of their life, literally, and helping them to come back down to earth was a pleasure. It was the true vibe of hospitality to me. We won a lot of awards. My chef was incredible. We did James Beard a couple of times. We went to, you name the food and wine, we went to it. We went to every symposium you could think of. But there was something about what we would find valuable was, yeah, we had great food. Yeah, I had a great cocktail program, but it was the hospitality and it was how we tied it into things that were very comfortable for them. Guess what was really comfortable for everybody when they come to the South? Tea. Tea. Can I get a glass of tea? And we'd be like, yeah. We dare not ask for, do you want it sweet or unsweetened? Because we're in the South. We're not asking you, do you want sweet or unsweetened? And if you say unsweetened, we're like, oh, okay. God, where are you from, honey? Like, where are you from? Clearly, you're not from, the South. So we love to tease on that. My mother would make sun tea growing up. Basically, if you don't know what sun tea is, it's when you would take loose leaf tea or tea bags, you put it in the largest jar you could think of, or those big Ozarka water bottles, literally, and toss tea in there and slice maybe 1.5 pounds of lemons. Toss the tea, water, lemons, cover the top, stick it in the sun, and let it stay there until it turns a beautiful, beautiful color. Anyone ever know what kind of tea is? Like what kind of tea? Like someone asked me a while back, like, how do you make tea, like unsweetened tea? And what kind of tea is that? And I thought, that's a great question, because when someone says, can I have a glass of tea? You never go, what kind of tea is that? You're just like, give me a glass of tea. Well, most teas that we're drinking, AKA Lipton, if that's just the go-to, it's black tea. Oh, did you know it was just black tea? Black tea is the highest in caffeine. Black tea is some of the coarsest tea, but the black tea category is pretty large. That's usually, you see white tea, you see oolong, of course, the blacks, and some other cool names that I really can't pronounce, but there's some really great herby teas, and they come out in this awesome tea color. This is my favorite tea in the whole entire universe, and this is white tea. My mom drank white tea all day, every day. And so when I was working at the bar, I was like, I gotta make a white tea cocktail. And people were like, what's the difference between white tea and regular tea? And I'm like, regular tea is white tea. It's called white tea, but it's really in the category of black tea. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So white tea is really fun. But I had a cocktail. I'm actually bringing a cocktail back to life that I have not made in probably 5 years, that I had on our menu, called You Only Live Twice. Any Bond fans out there? Yay! Oh, yay! Great. My favorite Bond movie, hands down. You Only Live Twice. Bond finally gets to Japan and does a stunt on him. He's amazing. I love R.I.P. Sean. Such a great movie. But I thought to myself, this is going to be the cocktail. By the way, I always name my cocktails after songs or movies. Just heads up on that. If you ever want to know, little tea on me. If you're like, where'd she get it? Some song in some movie. So You Only Live Twice is one of my favorite cocktails that I sold at One Flew South, and it is a play on, yes, you guessed it, the Vesper. Oh yeah. One of the most, I think, underrated cocktails in the world. I saw a feed a few weeks ago saying what cocktail should not be on the menu, and someone put the Vesper, and I wanted to go through my computer and be like, how dare you hate on two spirits together that are clean and clear and delicious. So I am showing you my style of the Vesper You Only Live Twice using a white tea. We know the Vesper always calls for Lillet, because Bond was like, oh, who's Lillet over there? And the story is just so sexy, but we're not using Lillet. We're going to use white tea. That bitterness that comes through the white tea is great. So my ingredients are 3/4 ounce white tea. And because I'm a silly woman and I love white tea unsweetened, I'm going to take a shot of unsweetened tea right now. So warm, buttery. I'm telling you, if you drink unsweetened tea, especially if you're not drinking, or you're teaching people to not, well, not teaching people, you're talking about mocktails, you know the rules, bartenders. If you drink unsweetened tea on the rocks, like an old fashioned, it's going down, especially if you double steep it and it's got some good caffeine coming through. So unsweetened tea, 3/4. And then I've got some unfiltered sake. Any sake drinkers out there? Yes. Hot, cold, whatever. Does it matter? Yeah. Doesn't matter, right? Just I had the pleasure of serving a lot of sake at One Flew South. There are, at the time, 7 sake sommeliers in the world, and one of them happened to live in Atlanta, Georgia. Insane. He was the coolest skateboarder I've ever met, and kind of cute. Super cute guy. But unfiltered sake was something that I fell into once I got into the sake nerd life. Of course, you learn what should be cold and what should be hot. Of course, you learn about the rice, you learn about the sweet potato, the black potato, you get all in there. But when you get into the unfiltered world of sake, lightly cloudy, got a little bit bits of rice inside, and sweet, really delicious, quite delicate. Some people think it's a palate thing, a texture thing. Yeah, you've had worse in your mouth. Don't be that way. Have you some nice unsweetened, unfiltered sake. So 3/4 ounce of unfiltered sake. Be sure to shake it if you're using it so we can get those rice bits to come all the way through. So we have just sweetened our tea with unfiltered sake. Genius, I thought this girl is really doing, I'm telling this story. Dry, great goodness. I'm a London dry gal, and that's exactly what comes through. The sharpness of the juniper, the black pepper. We are getting that instantly to ride along with this beautiful cocktail with the unfiltered sake and white tea. And of course, on brand and on region. Hello. Let's keep it there. My other bottle's in the freezer. Robin, what do you think about keeping this in the freezer?
That's where I keep mine.
Okay. You just don't, you know. It's in the freezer. This was a fresh one, but
I mean, I will say that it is mildly dangerous right out of the freezer because it's real smooth, not cold. It's like, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, great, because that's where it's at, and I had a great time with it. Forgive me, ladies and gents, I did not chill my coop. Pardon me, chilling my coop. I chill with sparkling. Do y'all ever do that? Is that wasting sparkling water? Okay.
I chill with sparkling and then I drink it.
And then I drink it. Okay.
Yeah, it's super refreshing and it's hydrating.
A little extra tea for you too. Thank you. Because I
convinced myself that the bubbles chill it faster.
Okay.
Acid or something.
That's okay. Thank you, ladies, because in my mind, that's what it does. I'm like, don't use the flat. It doesn't chill as fast. But the bubbles inside, it works. And then when you're done, can you pour that into my cup? Because I'm going to drink that during this shift. So I'm glad y'all felt me on that. I'm glad. I am going to put the same 3/4 of this beautiful, scary, deadly samurai of a vodka inside of this Vesper. And I enjoy seasoning my spirit, my cocktail with a little oil. I love when we do that on top of a cocktail, but I really like the oil inside, especially when it has all these flavors. It'll bind together really nice. So I'm just tossing that right inside, of course, expressing it and tossing like a little baby. Stir. Thanks, Kim. I see you with me. Thanks.
So I always thought like club soda with ice did make it colder because of the salt content, that when you mixed it and the ice in the glass, that it made it colder.
Let's go with it. Let's Google this for real, and then y'all own it when I post it, okay? Be like, yeah, we know. That makes sense, though. I mean, it's got to make it colder, right? I mean, it does. We'll do a science experiment. This will be a brain game where we actually see what's colder in, said time. So stirring nice and chill. The only way we know it's cold is by touching it. I had a lot of guests come in, and you know how the guests are when they see the name of something, they're just like, I don't care what's in it, I like the name. And I got a lot of people who were not comfortable with the martini nor the glass, those people who were like, I don't want to drink a martini. Oh, it's vodka and gin. I'm like, yeah, but wait till you get into it. And they absolutely loved it. Take it from me, use it. It works. Yes, God. Dump her. Strain her. Ooh. This is not using my fit wine. Sean would be so happy for me, Sean Connery. I love him. And if you want to express more, that's completely up to you. I never did. It was already inside. But this was my play on the Vesper. You Only Live Twice, dedicated to Sean Connery, 007, and the greatness of white tea. Ta-da!
Yay. Cheers.
Cheers, loves.
My mouth is seriously watering. I'm like, sake, rice, what? Sweet? Yes, here for it.
Oh my gosh.
Tell me, Kim. Tell me something. Give me some tea, girl.
That is so lovely. That is just, yeah, it's lovely. I mean, just the touch of sweetness from the unfiltered sake, just really, I wouldn't have thought of putting those together, but it's really good. That's great.
So glad you like it. We're still getting our alcohol, but still cutting it. You can change these portions how you please. I think it would be really fun, even if you just had unfiltered sake and tea. Maybe you can do a white tea martini. Those are fun. Chamomile, when we get into the herbal teas, the mints, the chamomiles. I really like making martinis out of that. I thought it would be a little too easy tonight to do that, but basically taking steep tea like that and sweetening it with your favorite honey or agave, and adding a little bit of acid. When I say acid, I don't mean like a big bite of lemon. I mean like your juicy acids, like the grapefruit, the ruby reds, the blood orange. Those really take on tea and keep it in its flavor. Sometimes lemon can just pow you out. It gets a little bit too difficult. Making a daiquiri, also really, really fun with tea, a slight bit of like white tea, a hint of lime, and your favorite rum is yummy. Sweeten that tea, of course. Sweeten it. This is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite cocktail. I miss making it at the restaurant, and cheers for letting me make it.
I had another question about white tea. So when you go to the grocery store and you're trying to find white tea, I was actually thinking it was closer to green tea, but it's actually more of a black tea.
Yes, it's the core side. It's the caffeine tea. That's going to be on the, you would think, because you hear the word white and you're like, it's got to be delicate and it's got to be on the lighter side. I don't know if you can really see. Well, anywho, it's really, when you buy it loosely, it's really stringy and long. But think of black tea and oolong tea, where it's got that coarseness, but they're white flowers and they're a bit long. So when they steep, they really don't even expand that much. They just kind of open up a tad, unfold like cinnamon, and bring it. There's a lot of caffeine in white tea that sits in the black tea category.
Okay. Well, I would have to make this again because I did it with the green tea. So it's probably a lot lighter than.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, green tea has a special place in my life as well. And I think it actually goes great, pun on the region, goes great with the flavor. So you did good. I think you did good. I like all teas. As long as it's tea, make it work. Make it work. Yeah, green tea's a fun one. During the pandemic, as I told you, I like to drink tea first thing in the morning after I talk to the plants, let the dogs do their thing, and turn on Spotify. And I started to drink a little too much tea because of the caffeine. As soon as the pandemic hit, coffee was no longer allowed in my home. Coffee is not my best friend. Coffee is, we are in love, and I have to break up. It's such an addiction, that caffeine. And so no coffee, all teas. And then I pulled away from the caffeine and started to learn more about teas and how to grow them, walking into the spring, into the summer, and learning how to take care of them and try to become this great botanist, as we all tried to do during the pandemic. And then I started reading about the actual flowers that make tea what they are. What is this caffeine? What makes tea caffeine? And it's a word that, it's a certain flower, almost like a cannabis, that makes it that strong. If you don't have that, then you can condense flowers and herbs together without this said flower to make tea, and make a tisane. Anyone know what a tisane is? Tisanes are badass. Tisanes are what we've been drinking for a very long time and didn't really know. This is hibiscus. This is lavender. This is lemon peel, even sometimes you see that out there. This is rose, or any kind of rose flowers that you see. So I started hitting up the market and looking at all of these flowers on the shelves, and I'm like, I don't want tea, but I do want some flowers. Like, that would be really fun. So I started to work on my own tisane, coming to a store near you. Hot tea for you off the press. I'm working on my own tisane that you all can order. I was going to do it around the holidays, but with all the things that our postal services did, I don't want my tea lost in the mail. So I am not going to put it out there. I'm scared. So I'm going to wait until this travel, excuse me, this package delivery fiasco tones down a little bit, so I can open up the gates for you all to order about a 4 or 6 ounce bag of my own tisane. My tisane is rose, lavender, hibiscus, lemon. It was really fun to make, and I literally made it by hand. I didn't grow the hibiscus by any means, but I did grow the lavender myself in Kiata's garden this year. And I did actually use real roses and got them dehydrated and learned how we really can make fun of these flowers and petals and what to do. Anyone that's into cannabis, a little tea really quick. If anyone is into cannabis,
Yep.
and you roll a nice one, roll it in rose petals.
Ooh.
Did you hear me?
Ooh.
Roll your medicine in rose petals. Not only does it burn slow, but it is very good for you.
Wow.
Flower on flower, huh?
No, we got to hang out.
Little tea, I told you. And a little time with me is not so shabby. So I'll show you the color of my tisane. Super dark, super rich. Hibiscus in the Black culture is everything. Hibiscus goes in just about everything. The red drink comes from the hibiscus flower. We celebrate all the time with red drink. No matter what Black or African Americans are doing when we celebrate, there is red drink on the table.
Yes, red is a color and a drink.
Red is a color, a flavor, and a drink. What does it taste like? It tastes like red. Just like purple, because purple tastes like purple. But red drink is super, 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 super valuable in my family. I grew up on the cusp of Louisiana and Texas. So my school life was in Houston, which education was great. Not in Louisiana, not at that time. And where I was born and where my grandparents and all lived was about 2.5 hours east of Houston. So I literally would cross the state line. I have crossed the state line my entire life, spending my school life in Houston and then my entire summers and holidays and sometimes weekends in Louisiana. The bayou is rich, fun, juicy. Right now, cold. 90% of my family had no power in Houston. It's a mess down there. It's just a hot mess. But I've got that one uncle who's got that big generator in that big house and invited everybody over. And now they're having a full out crawfish boil. But anyway, they're getting into it. But the red drink. And so that region that I explained outside of Houston, our beaches in Galveston, Texas, is where Juneteenth started. This is those that learned about Juneteenth or didn't even know about Juneteenth. It's okay. A lot of people didn't know about Juneteenth. Black people didn't know about Juneteenth because it was a regional thing. Emancipation happened 3 years prior to, in 1865, was this real emancipation, when the whole nation knew that Blacks were free. We had some Navy men out into the waters in the Gulf, and when they came into Galveston, they're unloading and they're thinking they're under master's rules. And there's a gentleman that said to come over and go, hey, I see how the story happens. He's on a horse and everybody's, knowing they have to be, divided and segregated. And he's like, hey, did you know that Blacks are free? And all the soldiers are like, bullshit. Like, we're not free. You're kidding me. We're not free. And they're like, no. Like Lincoln did this thing and he spoke and like, yeah, it all happened. And they were like, you've got to be kidding me. And so it took then an additional 6 months for them to actually believe that they were free. But here are my people. They're free. So you're free. What do? I don't know. I've never had a chance to do anything my entire life. I don't really know. And so there are Jack Yates, who is one of the preachers of that area right there that has a church jubilee. He's going to preach this day. June 16th happened to be the day. 16th or 18th, those 2 days kind of go back and forth because it was said to be 3 days. But he preaches this amazing sermon about freedom. And a couple of generals come and they're like, yeah, no, it's true. Y'all are free. There's red velvet cake. There is pies and fried chicken and beans. And mac and cheese, and then there's this huge bowl of red drink. The red drink is full of what is equivalent to rum, of course, any kind of sugarcane juice. Went inside of this with a lot of citrus sliced inside, possibly some lavender buds and hibiscus. Tea went inside. Hibiscus was one of the few herbs that were in the pockets from our ancestors when they came over. And so the hibiscus flower was something that we can grow. And if you've ever seen the hibiscus flower, that baby is tough. She is like, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. And when they boil or steep, they just open up and then they stay this way. I have steeped the same group of hibiscus flowers probably 3 times and still got its strength. But once it is steeped, it's bitter. And then it has this like, I don't know, almost a slight effervescence that comes out of her. So that is a tisane that will always be dear to my heart. And that is this rich, deep girl here. If you were ever around your Black or African-American friends, I suggest you ask them, do they want red drink? And look at the smile on their face. That, it's a thing. We'll be like, what you got? And it could be anything as long as it's red. So
that just made me so happy.
Red drink. Yes, for the red drink life. So this is just, you know, a Sunny Duet. Sunny Duet is another song that I actually love. But this calls for a feeling that I vibe on when it comes to my family. We call them porch crushers. No matter where you live, you know what a porch crusher is. That's what it's. There's no explanation. I'm on this porch and it's going down like pool crushers. We know what a pool crusher is, but a porch crusher, woohoo! That's what we're gonna do. So I will be using some bourbon, good old basil. I used to call Basil Haynes the lady of the bar because she wore a little belt. I used to just always, I think it's adorable. So I'll be using some good old basil. And I made some honey syrup. I did some honey syrup as I spoke earlier about sweetening tea with like softer sugars like agave or molasses. I think grass on grass is outstanding. I mean, we know sugar cane can be a bit tough. The byproduct of it is even better though, the molasses and the sorghum. And honey, let's give the honeybees a job. Give them a job. Let them make some honey for us. I absolutely love honey, especially when it's good and local. I steeped my honey in real lemongrass, another kind of flavored caffeine-less tisane. Fresh lemongrass, if you shop at any Asian marts or any really cool stores where your chefs work, your chef shop, excuse me, or if you can grow it, you can chop that baby up, dehydrate it if you want, and get some nice, good like stems there. You can steep that. It's still tea. If you can steep any kind of flower, tisane, you can steep any kind of flower or herb, and lemongrass is that. So I steeped my honey bear with real lemongrass just to give that bright citrus note that complements this beauty right there. So this will call for basil, some honey, lavender, honey lemongrass syrup, but regular honey, you can play how you please. Some good old hibiscus richness, minus hibiscus lavender because it's house made, but any kind of hibiscus tea will do. And then some club soda, not just any club soda. Get into it. There's flavored sodas all over right now. Get into it. We love a good topo. We love our club soda. We can get a little snobby on our bubbles, but there's some really decent flavored sodas out there. Waterloo does a great job. But here we have it from Blue Springs. Callaway Gardens, for anyone that's ever been to Atlanta, that's our little hot springs, and they have a lemon honeysuckle. I'll send you some if you like it. So let's build on this. Let's build on it. Of course, cheapest ingredients, most expensive. Getting my honey bear. Sweeten to your own. Just like the chef says, salt to taste. I am not one to pick on you on how sweet you want your tea. We're going to put bourbon in it anyway, so it's all up to you. I do a 3/4 there just because my tea has a good bitterness, and I think that's great. I am not adding citrus to this cocktail. In most sweet teas, Have a little bit of citrus. I'm not doing that. I just want the sweetness to go in there because my hibiscus has that bitterness that I'm looking for. Hibiscus, again, I'm repeating myself, just has a sour bitterness to it that's really delicious. 1 ounce. And because I'm that girl, I'm going to drink some. For the soul. For the soul. Sweet pea right here. 2 ounces, porch crusher. And I'm gonna use a Collins glass because but my mom, and the love of my mom, she would use a wine glass because she's my mother. Porch sippers are for big wine goblets because you're gonna add club soda. And the more you have, the more you don't have to keep going in the swing door. So I'm gonna use a tall Collins glass with just me tonight. Icing my glass and of course icing my shaker. And then fam, I don't know if you do this. I don't know if it's just a Tiff thing. Maybe you've been taught this, but I always soda on the bottom. Do y'all do that? Oh crap. Well, let the girl show you something. So you're always getting, think about the guest. When the guest is like, you know, the guest gets the tall or long and the straw goes in and they're just doing this, doing all this incorporation. So the effervescence of a soda will sit on the bottom, but the shaken content has enough sugar inside that when it hits, the centrifugal force just sweeps in. You don't have to even stir it. Watch your girl. So just filling half the glass with my bubbles. Ooh, almost half. It's a little warm. A little more. That sound never gets old, right? Put this baby in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes. You better get it, Kim. You better get it over there. You don't see bubbles, you didn't shake it. I'm gonna bring it in. Don't be showing off on me now. You better do it right.
Beautiful.
How about that? That way, when our guests or us, we get our cocktail, and if you are strawing or strawlessing, then the first sip is the cocktail. The first sip is not the club soda or even Shams or Prosecco. You don't have to do all of this. You don't have to pour slow unless you want to do the, you know, the technique, which is always pretty to go ahead and pour slow and show your technique. But when you are in a hurry on the porch or whatever you're doing, you need to do this real quick. Soda on the bottom, juice on top. Sunny duet.
Robin just said her whole life has been a lie.
You just changed everything. My mind is blown. I don't even know. I'm just going to be over here quiet.
You know, it's such a simple thing, but like I've always been taught, like you pour the club soda on top, you take the bar spoon, you push it down.
Yeah.
You know, but like, duh.
I learned that working in volume, you know, in the airport, and you get a couple of, you know, I was going to say vodka sodas. I'm just going to say that. And you line up the bar, you've got that table over there with those people, and they're like, we need 10 of them. And I'm like, all right, and you're lining up your glasses, you're icing them up. I find I'm wasting too much time, you know, and messing up, and the bubbles are all over the place. When you just line your glasses, ice them up, garnish the rim, toss the club soda or gun it, whatever you're doing, do that on the bottom, and then with your double shaker or just your vodka, come in, line it up, run these drinks, please. It works. I
You're a
learned
genius.
I learned it the hard way, but volume will teach you a lot of things, and y'all know that. You'll be like, how can I make my life easier and still gorgeous? So I'm glad that y'all picked up on that little tea. I didn't think that I was the only one that did it, but I'm finding that maybe I am. But now y'all know, and now you're gonna be like the drinking coach, because I got a coach. She told me lace the bottom with my bubbles. I mean, it's science. Effervescence on the bottom, booze on top. It's just science. So there is my porch pleaser. I could drink this all day. Bourbon and tea. Come on. Come on. No citrus at all, but you're getting the sweetness. Basil's already in a space. I mean, golden. But not having, I mean, and you can throw some lemon in there if you want, but that takes away from the hibiscus and doesn't let the hibiscus be all the girl that she wants to be. Cheers.
So this tisane that you're going to be selling, are you selling it in like raw form, so you make it yourself, or you already brewing it?
Nope, you're gonna have to steep on your own, kiddos.
Okay.
I'm gonna sell it to you by the hour.
Do you have an email list so when it's available that we can get on it? So we know when it's.
Maybe. It's my baby. So like what I've been nervous about is having my flavors at your house. Some people have confidence in that. They're like, I'm gonna make this syrup, I'm gonna make this thing, and I'm gonna ship it out. And I'm like, what if it gets there and doesn't taste the same? What if something happens? So I want to send it to you dry and perfect. I want to start off small, so I want it to be limited. I don't want to just go, hey everybody, just got tisane, and then I'm like, oh crap, I've got this list of things. So I'm gonna start off tiny, Kim, and do like 25 packs, and then boom, and then move on from there. 25 maybe every month or quarterly, just so I can.
Ooh, we might have to do a cocktail kit with your tisane.
Keeping you thirsty, literally. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Any questions?
Awesome.
Any ideas that you want to think about with tea? Any feelings that you have from these great drinks?
Yeah, I have a question. And first, thank you for walking us through that. That was really great. I'm not a bartender by nature, but since I've started working at Beam Suntory, I'm one of Robin's colleagues. I've certainly got into the whole mixology. So it's been a lot of fun. So my question is, when it comes to tea-based cocktails, is there an ideal time to like make the tea? Like is it better or worse if, like, let's say I make tea the day before and then make the cocktail, like, you know, the day after? Or should I make the tea the same day that I want to have a tea-based cocktail?
Great question, Anthony. Congrats. Welcome to the squad.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great question. Everything tastes better the day after. Steeping tea, as long as you steep tea for 5 minutes, meaning allowing it to open up as a flower, steep for 5 minutes, and then you can leave it be. Tea will not get old. It will only get weird, you know, after 2 weeks of not touching it in the fridge. You may see a piece of mold, but hopefully it doesn't sit there without you touching it. So steep it and chill it in glass, never plastic, and you're good to go. And double steeping can also play as an alternative to an Amaro or whatever bitter component you're making a cocktail with. So yeah, steep and go, play around with it, get a couple of mason jars, look like a little scientist, and have a couple of teas in the building and goof off with it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Don't want my martini to get hot.
I love all these cocktails. The Warm Regard, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a Blood and Sand, but much more elegant, which I love.
Yeah,
Blood and Sand, you know, but this is really delicious.
I'm glad. Yeah, it definitely brings that Blood and Sand attitude, obviously because of the blood orange and the scotch. But again, thank you for saying the word elegant. Something just a little cleaner. We're constantly doing classics anyway. polish it up, you know, swap things out. I think tea is an amazing additive, as I just told Anthony, to a bitter component, or getting rid of a spirit and dropping it in with some tea. So I'm glad that you felt that. Latoya, you're quiet up there.
I just want to I'm anxious to go make them now. I have a Total Wine right around the corner. I'm like, okay, I gotta go get these ingredients. I didn't see this until the last minute. I'm like, but I will be making those for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Mission accomplished. I want you to make them. And they're really easy to make. The hardest part is tea. I teach a lot of at-home bartenders, if you can make coffee or tea, you can make a cocktail. Well, let's go ahead and make the tea. And then let's take it from there. You know, the hardest part is steeping the tea. And that's 5 minutes while you're juicing or getting a cool glass or taking another drink, actually. So get into it, girl. Get some teas, steep them out, taste them unsweetened, and go, you know what? This needs gin, or this needs vodka, or whatever spirit that you want to goof off with.
Is there a preferred tea that you use, like a branded tea or anything like that?
I use a local tea company here, Black-owned tea company here called Just Add Honey. A group of Black females who've been rocking the box for me over 10 years. They're just incredible. But I go I try to get as authentic as I can. So I hit the farmer's market. I hit Asian marts. I hit anywhere where it's cheap. Tea is usually bought when it's loose leaf. It's bought by the ounce. You purchase it by the ounce. So if you find any tea houses, which is something we don't tend to think about Googling, depending on where you live, like Google tea house and see if there is one. And if there isn't one, let's open one. Let's do it. Let's get one. But tea houses rock. And it's just as amazing as a coffee shop, but loose leaf. I'm not shading on the bag tea, but loose leaf is where it's at. And you can get cool containers and all kind of fun stuff, just to give homage to the alchemy. So no solid group, but just as local and as affordable as I can.
Awesome. So I'm going to make sure you all get these recipes. I'll email them to you as soon as the class concludes. This was amazing. And I'm really jealous that I cannot make any of them at the moment because that storm is coming. But as soon as it's passed, I will for sure be making them.
Yay. Reach out to me if you need any help. You want me to walk through it, get on the phone, want to FaceTime, want me to drink with you? I'll do that.
Let's do it.
Text me first. I might be busy. Y'all know I'm busy. But if you're like, girl, what did you say? What did you do? We'll do that. I will totally walk that through you. If you're ordering something online, like, I don't know, shoot me a text, slide the DM. I am here for you. I am here. I'm a big texter, so do that. That's what the coach does. I'm here to hold your hand and walk you through your curiosity or lostness when you're looking for a cocktail. So thanks for having me. And I wish we could have got the cocktails out sooner, but storms everywhere. And I'm grateful. Thanks again, Robin. Thank you for connecting it. And even our girl on the ground, she had drama too. We're just like, oh my God, it's been raining here for 40 days and 40 nights. It's been really bad. So I'm glad that we got the product. Thank you so much for letting me get creative. Thank you for the patience. Let me do my thing. Latoya, don't you rub that in. We don't care about Miami right now. Girl.
Not how she looked too.
Tell us how you really feel.
I just made my second cocktail with snow because I still don't have ice in my freezer. So I'm just, by the way, snow makes a delicious cocktail. Just anybody that's got snow in their world.
Snow makes a delicious cocktail. There's some guy on YouTube, some old guy that makes cocktails.
Jose Andreas?
Yes.
He's in DC. It's so funny what he's doing.
His accent is so Jess. He's like making the cocktail in a car. He's scooping it from the ground. My girlfriend was like, "Babe, did you see this? Look at this bartender." I was like, "Wait a minute, but it looks so good." Like he just kept pouring tequila on it. Like, just go in.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty funny. I'm not lying. I put a Tupperware outside, like a small one. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it. Let's do this.
I love it. Thanks for having me, girl. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is great. I really appreciate you coming on. For those of you who did not catch the panel discussion Tiffanie was in and would like to check it out, it is on YouTube. She was amazing. All the panelists on there did a fantastic job. So moving, so powerful, so important. All of the content we're doing throughout the entire month is up there, but we still have some events as we have a week and a half left of February. So we definitely want to, go out with a bang, and we just appreciate the support sincerely. And I truly had an amazing time tonight. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Go make some more cocktails.
LP, are you going to tell them the surprise?
Oh, no, Robin, you should tell them.
Okay. So first of all, Tiffanie, you and I just need to have a whole sidebar on tea because I am tea obsessed. But for all of the attendees, I think we have enough for everyone that attended, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for everyone that attended, I used to work on Akintoshin, the first cocktail that Tiffanie made as the brand ambassador. And one of the things that we made as like a POS, which is a giveaway item, was a tea kit. So it's 3 tins of tea and a tea strainer. So everyone that attended tonight is going to get one of those in the mail for free with tea from a local tea company here in Chicago called Rare Tea Seller.
Yay,
Oh my God.
that's a surprise.
Yay!
And we'll have to make sure we send one to Jane, who just left. But yes, so
100%,
excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yay.
And maybe we'll just have to have another tea class.
I mean, I'll just happily sit and talk to y'all and drink tea on Zoom. I don't care.
Can we just, can we do
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's just do that.
I'm with that. I could use that.
Yeah, we'll just oh my gosh. And I have
Story
these
time, we'll
beautiful
bedtime.
like teacups, and I'll make shortbread cookies, and it'll be great.
Let's do it.
Yay, fuzzy socks and tea.
I'm in.
Other tea cakes.
Yes. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you so much, truly.